latest update on Slaghuis TV. My name is Unati, aka Time Zone, and I'm with Tap, my co-host, the hip hop analyst, as well as the beauty Ntabi. Very, very lovely to have you here.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Possibly the first female, actually.
Yes, that we've ever had to
Why?
come through and pick your brain. You know what I mean?
Why?
I don't know politics. It's Tap's idea.
I suggested.
What do you
that we
have
get
against?
Mr.
What do you have against women?
I have nothing against women. I was like, let's get Mr. Tabi into this discussion. So
The timing's perfect.
Yeah.
So today what we're looking at is the role of traditional as well as social media in hip hop. So the first question ever. Do you think that mainstream media understands hip hop, or they're just currently riding the wave?
Well, it depends, really. There are people who started from, the underground and worked their way into mainstream media, and when it comes to interviews, they actually do their research, and then you get the other journals who are lazy as fuck. And you get this by the people who ask you those questions. How does it feel to be a woman in hip hop?
Oh,
Why are there not enough? Like those kind of.
And you've probably answered those before.
I don't even answer those anymore. Like if you're going to interview someone, do your research on them. So I kind of feel like with mainstream media, it's about who is big and who's popular and who's got the brands behind them. Then even when they interview you, they're interviewing you about how much you're making, so what's popping for you in terms of deals, but they don't actually go in and do their research about the artist. They don't even know what the first album that they put out was, or why they write, their style of writing. The questions are the same recycled type of things.
So they never delve in deep into the content, the art and science.
I don't think so. And I think that's why, for me personally, I'm picky about the kind of interviews I do, and I'm picky with who I do interviews with. I'd rather not do interviews because number one, the music speaks for itself.
True.
And then secondly, if you're gonna ask me lazy questions, then why am I wasting my time?
Why did you drive from
If
Pretoria?
you're gonna ask me, so tell me about yourself. How did you start in hip hop? Clearly, you have not done your research. You know what I mean? And it's not an arrogant or pompous thing. But if you're going to interview somebody, do some research on them.
About them. Yeah.
Do you see any advantages for artists nowadays when it comes to mainstream media? Is it more advantageous than what we had back then with traditional media?
I don't really think so. Well, it's twofold. You can use it to advantage in that it's easier to just jump on the bandwagon and rape it, right? But at the same time, the other side of it is that if you're not a big selling brand, it doesn't work to advantage. Whereas before, if you had talent, people are eager to hear you. People are excited. Yo, did you hear this person? But now it's like, oh, this person just signed a deal with this label. Let's check out what they're about. So now the focus is not on the person and the talent. It's on the deal that they just signed. So it's really twofold. If you're trying to come into the industry and make it could ruin you because people aren't really concerned with what you're doing with more than the deals that you can log. But if you're a big person, you can use it to your advantage. So it's twofold, really.
Okay.
So in terms of like,
Thinking. I can tell you. I'm like, what's happening? He's like,
I wanted you to be like, this is how I use it. I don't use it, like.
I honestly, and this sounds horrible when I say this, I don't really care for what's happening within the media, and I'm not saying that's how all artists are and that's how all artists should be, but in terms of where I am in my craft and in my art, I'm focusing on giving people good music first and foremost. I don't want to be remembered as somebody who came and they were popular and then 3 years, 5 years down the line, please rap a Miss Ntabi song for me. I don't know, you know what I mean? We're remembering people for the deals that they made and how big they are, but in terms of their art and why they're actually in the industry, if you're a musician, make music. So if we're not going to remember you for your music, then what are you doing?
Okay.
I get the fact that you're saying that you don't really care so much about it, but don't you think then you having that kind of attitude is allowing the listener not to be conscientized about Ntabi's music? I mean, I'd love to hear your music on radio. You trying to avoid hearing the same thing over and over again, being lit. I mean, you can't be lit from Monday to Friday. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. But this is a battle that I think it takes the whole society to kind of change it. You know?
Yeah, true.
I can't now change my style of doing things because I'm trying to beg the media to play my music. If radio's gonna play my music, it's gonna be because it's good music, not because I paid for you to put my song on. And the people who want to hear it will get it. It's not just because music is not on the radio, it doesn't mean it's not accessible. Most of the music that you get, the music that you like, is not on radio anyway.
Yeah.
Half of the artists that I love and half of the music that I listen to, I never hear it first on the radio. Radio normally catches on after. So radios for me is more like an advert, but the creative that goes on behind putting that ad together, that's what people want to see.
I get you. Nah, I'm with you.
Sense?
Because it
so
does
it's
make
also,
sense.
It's not like I'm not saying, oh, screw the media, I don't care about you. Obviously, they are stations that show love. They are stations that, you know, will play my music. But all I'm saying is, if we're going to be making music with the intention to just be on the top charts and not actually worry about the kind of music you're giving people, then it's you're not doing it for the right reasons. That's how I personally think. If you want to make money, make money. Everyone needs to eat. I have nothing against that. All I'm saying is, if you're gonna make music, make sure that you're making it because you want it to get to people, not necessarily to be number one on the charts.
True. But it's not also neglecting you from being a number one on the chart.
No, not at all.
Because I think
Not
that's the
at
balance
all.
that we're
There's
missing.
absolutely nothing wrong with being number one. But all I'm saying is, most of the time you get to number one and you're big for being number one. But give me a song. Tell me a song that is yours that is like, wow, I actually really like this person.
I could relate.
You
The
know what
lyrical
I mean?
content was dope.
Exactly. Even if you are a turn-up artist, if you want to be the best turn-up artist there is, own your craft. If you want to be a turn-up artist, own your craft and give people the dopest turn-up music they ever could hear.
Nah, so it's clearly, these cats are just riding the wave. I'm just complaining about the balance that is not there. I mean, it's not every time you hear a Julia Shane Eagle song. It's not on heavy rotation like you'd hear Sazo Balit. I have no
But it's
problem.
about finding that balance though, because I mean, not everyone is trying to hear a Shane Eagle. You know what I mean? Not everyone is trying. Some people is like, oh, that's too much. I'm not trying to think. Some people just want to drink and be happy. So it's about finding that, where do we strike that balance of entertainment and also being responsible and educating. So where do we find that balance where we're catering to everybody? And I think why it's not working in radio is because it's only catering to one crowd as opposed to catering to everybody.
To the masses,
Exactly.
And it's
We're
not just radio, it's TV as well. I mean,
Exactly.
it's not a fair reflection of what I see. It's not what's going on in the streets.
Because you don't want it to flip around where now everything is deemed as deep, you know. We need to have that balance. You're not always happy, you're not always sad, you're not always trying to think. I want to listen to some shit that makes me not think sometimes as well. You know, it's about just trying to
What
What like that? Like what? No, like what?
What's that you want to listen to?
That does not make you think.
Off the top.
Cardi B.
All right.
You don't have, I mean,
Locally?
Local, no.
Just
I
into
see what you
discussion.
mean.
No,
Hey, this is actually a local hip hop show, okay?
No.
What?
This is a local hip
I
hop
just
show.
chilled. We are having a discussion.
I
It's nothing
almost
to-
fell for that
We
track.
are not an international show, Mr. We are a
I
local.
don't care. I don't
Because it's easy to say Cardi B, Migos, I mean Young Thug, you know what I mean? But locally,
yeah, but you're also not trying to. I need to be responsible with my music. You're not trying to trample
Yes,
somebody
yes,
else's
no.
career. You know what I mean?
We're just trying to
but we're just
understand the
saying
terms.
that we do get times where you also just want to listen to some shit where I'm not trying. I'm gonna have a J. Cole day and I want to listen to
Okay.
Cole. I'm gonna have a day where I'm like, okay, I want to listen to some old school
Do you-
stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Do you think interviews are more diplomatic also because you can easily get this information? Somebody can just easily be like, interview, Ms. Ntavi said this.
Besides that, we're sitting here and we're doing this interview. You guys are gonna go edit this stuff. So
No!
it's
No. Listen,
You
you see, but this is what we need in terms of hip hop. We need to be as cutthroat as
Yeah.
possible.
No,
Because when you look at the
definitely.
genre,
No,
it's very
definitely.
competitive. You know, I think it's one of the only genres that entertains people by battling.
But being cutthroat doesn't mean being irresponsible. You know what I mean? You can be cutthroat and not have to be irresponsible. I don't need to trash the next artist.
that's true. That's
just
true.
to be like, oh, she said this. Next thing, it's not about what we're speaking about, and it's about the fact that I said that person's music makes me not think.
They focus on the.
Exactly.
So it's the problem. It's the media again. Like how how you said, creating a balance.
Exactly. And
Nine
you
times.
guys would run with
No!
it.
Like I told you, my homegirl, chill there, you from Pigville, you know? Relax.
Home girl where?
We know each other. Don't mean to prove that. Come on, but that's what we need for hip hop.
Well, but you're okay. Come on.
Where, nigga? How? Where?
Which
Are you
hood
giving me this?
from?
Oh, we speaking about the role. Ne? We're looking at hip hop mainstream is doing justice to the music out there. Not our. You see, the media's gonna run with that.
But I think I've also accepted that, like, I think differently, and I'm in my own space. I stay in my lane, and I'm comfortable with staying in my lane because I know where my journey is supposed to go. So, you know, other people, that's what they need to make their careers grow. So you can't now go and trample them in someone's career because, you know,
All right.
for the sake of a conversation.
I get you.
You get
I'm with you. I'm with you, home girl.
We definitely need to be more responsible.
Oh, girl.
So that's what you heard Tabi say right here on Status Updates, Slaghuis TV. What are your perspectives? What are your thoughts on what we're discussing? Okay, we'll be right back with more.